Hi gents, welcome back to TY Astronomy. I just wanted to talk to you about a particular thing. I was out walking yesterday and I saw this and I thought this might be nice just to explain to you. You can maybe look out for it yourself. And that's something that you can see just regularly during the daytime. Not always visible, in fact, relatively rare, but it happens more often than what you think, and that is something called a parhelion or parhelia. After two of them, it's called a sundog. And what occurs with a sundog is that you've got light from the sun coming straight here into that person's eye. Obviously, you should never stare at the sun, but if you've got some ice crystals up in the air, up in the atmosphere, specifically ones that are hexagonal, what will happen is light from the sun will come along, it'll strike here, and like a prism, it'll get refracted into your eyeballs. So it'll look as if this happens symmetrically. It'll look as if there are two extra suns either side. Now, it's not quite typically as dramatic as that, and because Ireland doesn't tend to have a whole load of ice crystals in the air, you wouldn't really see it. You wouldn't really see it terribly strongly. But anyway, just yesterday, for instance, I was out for a walk just to give you sort of an idea of what you should look out for. You can see it there is the sun, and you've got two sundogs either side. They kind of look like just a little formation of a rainbow. And if you can see as well, there's actually a full, it's called a 22-degree halo going around the sun. So this is it just zoomed in a little bit, and you can see here that you have two sundogs. So that's just maybe something to keep a small eye out on. The other day was actually it was very impressive because depending on the types of crystals that you have in the air, you'll get different effects. So also from here, if you looked directly overhead, I don't know, you're going to be able to see it well, but it's clear on my monitor. There's like a little upside down rainbow just going on there. So that's called a circumzenithal arc. That's fairly rare. I've seen it a few times, but not often. So just to show you, this is maybe a couple of pictures that I've taken over the years, just to show that it's not that rare. Although I will say this is from Norway, I think. But you can see here as well, that's the circumzenithal arc just above there, and it just looks like an upside down rainbow. I mean, how often do you look directly straight up in the sky? Not often. So this stuff does happen. We just don't tend to keep an eye on it too much for obvious reasons. It's helpful to look around. When you're on a plane, if you go on the anti-sun side of the plane, you get a similar effect when you're kind of close to the clouds. That's the shadow of the plane, and you've got this thing here that's called a glory in that case. So that's something that you can do if you ever manage to get back on a plane. You can try and get on the anti-sun side, the opposite side of the sun, so where you're going to see the shadow of the plane, and just keep an eye out for that. You'll be able to see something like it. So just to show you some previous ones, this was 2013. There's another circumzenithal arc that I was able to see. That one was actually the strongest one that I've seen ever. Here's a real close-up of a sundog, so you can really see that it is just like a prism. Light has been sent through a prism, and you can see pretty much a rainbow right there. So that's a really zoomed in photo from 2008. Here's a photo that I took from my back garden one time. The sun here has set, but you've got what would be the halo that we were talking about, that 22-degree halo, and here you've got I've actually forgotten the name of it. It's an upper tangent arc, and a zoomed in shot of it there. You can see here. So again, it looks like a rainbow. There's another little arc going on there. And these things are pretty rare. And when I was just researching what I would show you here for this video, I went online and I just saw that somebody had actually taken a video from the same day that I was out on the walk, and this was from Cork City. So this one here, they had an incredible view. So here we've got a halo on top of a halo. Ultra rare from Ireland. So let's just explain what's going on there. You've got the sun as per usual. You've got, which is relatively frequent. You have this halo going around it. I say relatively frequent. I might see this maybe once every month or 2 months or something like that, because I know to look out for it. But what is really rare is this extra one here that goes the whole way across the sky, as you just see. That's called a park. This extra one. I've only seen that once, and it was actually at the back of school. Some lads were out playing football, and they noticed this really weird stuff in the sky, that this was happening. I'll just show you quickly. Took a nice little photo just to really show a bit. Now this is, I think this is pretty much a 180-degree photo. You've got the sun there, you've got this arc going around it, that's the 22-degree halo, but then you've got this thing which encompasses the whole sky. Very, very rare. I'm very jealous that he got to see it, but I'm also very lucky in that I've seen one from Ireland, which is not normal. If you do go to places where there's typically a lot of ice crystals, I think this is from the Himalayas. Here's an example of just how strong it can be. Now I imagine there's a bit of photo editing going on there from whoever took that, but it's pretty spectacular. Here's another great photo. I wonder, can I zoom in on that just to give you an idea here. Now these are tons of different arcs. I haven't seen half of these things here. That's that upper tangent arc, which I had that nice close-up photo of, which you wouldn't see very often. Again, plenty of Photoshop. Don't assume that it looks like that. But I mean, those things are there. It just takes a lot, I'd say, to get it out of the photo, whoever took it. And also, here's an example of one where you can actually see it right in front of you in 3 dimensions. It's in front of the mountain, which doesn't appear to make any sense based on what I was saying. But in this case, obviously, it's some sort of ski resort. Those relevant ice crystals have actually been knocked up into the air, and so rather than being in the atmosphere or 20,000 feet up, it's actually in between the photographer and the mountain, and it's creating all these beautiful complex halo designs. So they're pretty amazing. Now, as I say, are you ever gonna see that? It is unlikely. This is a pretty good display as seen from Ireland, and that's more realistic of what you can see. But it's still worthwhile. Lots of people never notice that these things happen. I'll finish, I suppose, just showing you maybe. This was from the back of school, as I was saying. That's that. Ultra rare arc. I would say you'd be lucky if that happened in Ireland once a year. So to be there at the right time to see it is lucky, and that is what it looked like from the back of school. So that's what it was above the pitches, a full circle with that extra thing encompassing the whole edge of the sky. So I took a particularly not great video because it's a bit washed out, but you can see what it was like from the back of Gonzaga. You can see that this is that extra line, and it really does go the whole way around the sky. It's quite something. And just other things to look out for if you are the sort of person who's finding it tough to come back over the Easter holidays and you're still going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can keep a small eye out as well for another nice piece of optical phenomena, and that is something called noctilucent clouds. So that's literally translates to night shining clouds. These are clouds that are incredibly high up in the atmosphere, maybe, I don't know, maybe like 100,000 feet up. So way above regular clouds. And when the sun sets, so the sun is already set, but the light is coming from the sun, which is set, bouncing off these clouds and lighting them up so that you can see them. So it tends to be, just along the horizon here. You won't have them very high up, because if they're, closer to you on this domed, on a circular orb, which we have as the Earth, if it's there, well then the Earth is actually blocking the sun's rays from getting there. Yet another reason why we have to be a geoid rather than flat or something like that. So this is something to keep an eye out of. Again, this is from the back of my house, and you too should be able to have a look at them if you can see. I think this is northwards. I think you should typically be looking northwards, and you might be able to see it. So there's just another example of them. So they're just kind of this eerie blue, grey, silvery thing. Depends on the day, depends on the atmospheric conditions, and those are things that you can see. If you have an interest in it, I would really, really, really strongly recommend a great book on all sorts of atmospheric phenomena that happen all the time that people just don't look out for, and that's something called Out of the Blue by John Naylor. It's unfortunately £58, so wouldn't be hopping straight on that. But if you go to Amazon, you can pick it up for, I don't know, about €15 there thereabouts, or maybe $8 has it for quite cheap, but delivery brings it up to about €12 or €13. But I would highly recommend it if that sort of thing interests you. Okay, gents. Hope you're keeping well. Take care. Keep an eye out for those sort of things. Try and take a photo, and if you do see one, send it on to me. Take care.